talk Marvel Zombies. So, I sat down and, with a little bit of reservation, I watched the 4 episode miniseries of Marvel Zombies. And I gotta tell you, spoiler alert for this episode, it was okay. It wasn't bad. Um, I didn't love it. I didn't think that it was like the best thing that Marvel had ever done, and especially animation wise. But I thought it was good. But I will tell you, there were some things that I really loved and some things that I really hated about it. So let's start with the things I loved. So, in regards to Marvel Zombies, it's a part of the What If series. And what I hated about What If is the fact that they brought in some of the things into the MCU with like the darker version of Doctor Strange and things like that with Multiverse of Madness. I didn't care for that aspect of What If. Like, I wanted its own self-contained story. And yeah, it's part of the bigger multiverse. I'm all for that. I get that. But I wanted a story that was set alone and aside um, from the multi or from the MCU, right? Marvel Zombies seems like it does that. It seems like it truly is its own self-contained story. I didn't see anything that, yeah, there were talks or hints of the MCU about how this world's version happened. So we won't dive in that for a second. But I think that ultimately it's its own self-contained story, and I appreciated that about it. What I also loved was the visuals of this series. They were absolutely breathtaking from an animation standpoint. Like the colors, the vibrant landscapes and things like that. I loved every second of it. And from a guy whose favorite video game of all time is The Last of Us, I loved the look of the post-apocalyptic world that they set here. I thought it was really good, and I thought they did a great job and really paid attention to the details in the animation. So much so, I'm willing to say it's the best animation we've gotten since the Spider-Verse movies, and that includes Arcane, and it also includes K-pop Demon Hunter, which I thought the visuals of that was really good. So, like the opening scene of this starts out with them with Kate Bishop. Why am I terrible? Riri Williams, and then Kamala walking through downtown of this like abandoned city, probably New York City or whatever, and the zombie Hawkeye is hunting them down. But the scene starts with like kind of a vibrant landscape with kind of a close up on some greenery with the sun coming in from behind, and it's not focused correctly, and it's starting to come into focus, and it's really colorful and bright, and then all of a sudden you see where they're at. It was really good. I really love the animation behind it. And then I also loved the Kamala character. Like, first of all, Miss Marvel is one of my favorite TV shows that Marvel has put out. But I really think that this character, especially in this world for Marvel Zombies, I think it was the right character to choose. I really do. I think you needed someone who was, young and a little bit naive and coming into her own. And ultimately, by the end of this, she is crowned by Thor an actual Avenger, and I think that it was really touching to be able to have her as the main character. I think it gave the show a lot of heart that it needed when you're talking about the world of the dead, right? Well, some of the things I didn't care for. I didn't care for Scarlet Witch and the story arc here with her, because ultimately all she's really doing is the exact same fucking thing she did in WandaVision. Like she wanted this immense power to be able to not set the universe right, but to give us a manipulation of the world that she wants us to have. And Kamala, at the end of it, giving up her her ability to be able to, I mean, I don't know if she could have saved the world anyways, because like it all seemed kind of doomed by then. But to set up this world, like, honestly, just Scarlet Witch was just, it was the same storyline from WandaVision, and I didn't really care for that. I also didn't understand how at the end of it, like I understood, like did Wanda just put her friends in this, the zombie world to punish? Like, I didn't understand that part of it. Maybe it's because I was doing other things while watching it. Maybe I didn't catch on, but ultimately the ending didn't quite make a lot of sense to me. But I can still appreciate the fact that it honestly, it didn't end well, right? And I love shows that the hero doesn't always win. But I think it sets up for a sequel because I think we probably are meant to not understand, and clearly Kamala is trying to figure out what's going on at the end, and it's probably going to set up for a second miniseries for this, I would assume. But all that aside, love the visuals. Thought the dialogue was okay. Some of the banter was good, but honestly, some of the dialogue was a little cringy to me. But there were also some other things that I really liked. So let's start with the Nova Corps because they are a bunch of fucking assholes. They knew about this apocalypse on Earth, and they did nothing about it. And in fact, they quarantined Earth and then shot down our heroes in space in order to get them to go back into quarantine. If that wasn't reminiscent of COVID-19, I don't know what the fuck was, right? Like, you had your extremists who were like, you got to stay in at all costs, no matter what. And I thought that was pretty funny, to be honest. Like, I thought it was, in a world where the Nova Corps and the MCU is supposed to be the ones that really help the universe and all this kind of stuff, for them to have kind of that darker approach to it, I actually really liked. I liked the Thor battle between Scarlet Witch. It wasn't a long battle, but I love the fact that Thor made it in. I love the fact that his version of being, the depressed Thor that we got in Endgame was because Thanos, zombie Thanos, who had gotten all the stones, Thor couldn't stop him, and now he didn't snap the world out of existence or anything like that. Black Panther actually sacrificed his life in order to kill Thanos. And then they had to bring the Hawk in order to contain the power of the Infinity Stones, which I thought that was pretty cool too. And so, yeah, I thought that stuff worked out really well. I love zombie Thanos. Like, I thought that it was really cool. And I love the fact that they all realized Spider-Man, Scott Lang, and Black Panther all realized that, like, Thanos was learning. Like, he was learning how to use the stones. He had all this power, but his brain, they said it in the show, his brain couldn't focus enough in order to control it. But he was starting to learn, and they realized that they had to end that pretty quick. So, although that was only like a 5-minute little fight scene and tippet of the series, I thought that was pretty cool. I would have loved for them to kind of expanded on that. And so it was cool to see some of the other characters that we hadn't seen before. I'm glad that they refrained from putting in like Iron Man in it and Black Widow, Vision. I guess Vision. Would Vision be a zombie? I don't think he would, right? So I'm glad that they kind of refrained from putting in some of those characters because, they're dead in the MCU. Like, I don't think we need to see them come back in an animated version of the show. But they did have zombie Captain America, half-bodied zombie Captain America. And I love the fact that Red Guardian still had his rivalry with Captain America, despite the fact that Captain America was only half a torso. But honestly, Red Guardian was one of the highlights of this show for me. And so David Harbour, he really has a hold on this character. He brings it to life, and this show, like, he's just our dad, right? Like, he's our superhero dad, and we all loved him. So to see him turn in this was honestly heartbreaking for Kamala, and I thought that was pretty good. And so I also really loved Shang-Chi and the 10 rings, and like it stopping him from turning into a zombie and his dad sacrificing himself in order to save his son. I thought that was a very different and cool lore to it. I thought Awkwafina brought a lot of comic relief to this show, and that's the hard thing, right? Like, you're talking about death and zombies, you needed some levity, and I thought they did really well in order to balance that out. And so yeah, I just the show was really well written. The dialogue and the banter I thought was good. I thought some of the lines again was cringy, but those are just minor critiques. But let's talk about the thing that I really didn't like at the end, and that was the Hawk battle. I can appreciate the fact that Kamala had to make the choice and to help, I guess, control the power of the Infinity Stones with Scarlet Witch. But for some reason, the amazing animation that we got throughout the course of this show, I felt like took a step back in that Hawk battle. Like, it was weird. It was just, it felt like it went from the likes of Arcane or Spider-Verse or even X-Men 97 to reverting to what felt almost anime-ish. And I don't mean that negatively. I'm like not knocking on anime, but it was like oh, all this battle happens, and instead of showing it to us, they just create like a cloud of dust, and it all has to settle in, or like, um, or like, oh well, here's this big epic portion of this battle. Let's just amplify it by a bunch of bright lights where you don't see what's going on, and so I didn't care for that. So I don't know why. Well, especially in a show that did really well, to show off some of the battle sequences. I don't know why we did this. Why we ended it that way. But because I just felt like it cheapened the animation of the show. But I say all that to say that they're all 10 times better animators than I'll ever hope to be. But yeah, those were some of the things that I didn't really care for. So was the show worth watching? I think it was. I think because it's a self-contained story. If you choose not to watch it, it's not like you're going to miss anything. I haven't seen What If season 2 or season 3, so I don't think there's any need to know what came before it. The only thing you need to know in this is that going into it is that Scarlet Witch is known as the Queen of the Dead in this, and it's zombie superheroes, and it's zombie superheroes that still have superpowers. Like I love the fact that Hawkeye was still Hawkeye, which kind of makes me wonder then, like, why was Thanos so dumb? But okay, that's besides the point. At the end of the day, the show was worth watching, so I think you should definitely check it out. It's only 4 episodes. Honestly, maybe an hour and a half to 2 hours of total watch time to be able to complete it, and it's definitely worth the take. So, but if you're watching this and you've seen Marvel Zombies, let me know. Like, what did you think about it? Did you enjoy it? Do you think it was worth the watch? And yeah, I'd love to be able to hear your thoughts. Let me know, and thank you guys for watching. This has been my loot drop review of Marvel Zombies.